Greetings, everyone. Dr. Anita Stewart McCafferty here from Educational Leadership at the University of Southern Maine. It's my pleasure to welcome you back to Module 3, where we're going to focus on teaching and assessing for understanding and also look at questions to identify goals. Our guiding questions for this week are: how do you support your mentees or collaborating teachers in designing effective lesson and unit plans? How will you include students in your mentoring and coaching conversations? Because we're always looking for that notion of student involvement, not just the notion of student involvement, but actual student involvement. Why is it important to encourage your mentees and collaborating teachers to reach out to parents? So again, another continuing thread throughout this course. How do you help your mentee or collaborating teacher plan with assessment in mind? How will you help your mentee and collaborating teacher understand assessment tools? How will you reinforce the student perspective and voice? And how can you use questioning to help teachers develop goals? And the type of goal that we're going to practice is peers goals. And that comes from the Impact Cycle by Jim Knight. So you'll see that it's an acronym, and we're going to work through that. So our module objectives are to be able to use the identify questions to compose a peer's goal for yourself, and also describe a process that a coach or mentor might use to help a mentee or a collaborating teacher compose a peer's goal. The second module objective is to reflect upon the art of questioning practices and apply those practices to our coaching and mentoring. The third module objective is to describe how a coach or mentor might assist a novice or collaborating teacher design effective lessons and units, including the effective use of teaching and assessment strategies. So this is no small task when we start to look at this idea of designing and implementing effective lessons and units, and start to think about the teaching strategies that we're using, the assessment strategies that we're using, and also as we move in the cycle towards improvement. So what can we learn and improve? So that helps us with our goals. We need to make sure that we've established clear goals that are going to help guide us into what we want to learn, and then the rate of improvement and the kinds of improvement that we're making. So this week you're going to be reading chapter 3 from the Impact Cycle, what instructional coaches should do to foster powerful improvements in teaching. And you'll also be watching the videos that accompany the Impact Cycle for chapter 3. In addition, you're going to continue your reading of Mentoring in Action, Guiding, Sharing, and Reflecting with Novice Teachers. In this week, I'm asking that you read October and November. So those are the two chapters that take you through, once we've established some initial routines and are starting to develop a sense of community of learners. How do we develop those things? How do we continue to develop those things? And there are a number of videos that you'll be watching that accompany the Mentoring in Action readings that you will do. Your learning activities, there are 3 of those for this week, one of which focus on you using the identify questions and to be able to then create a peer's goal. The second learning activity is the art of questioning. So being able to reflect upon the 7 practices of good questions and think about what your strengths are and what areas are maybe in need of some improvement. So you could take some next steps around those. And the third learning activity is around build trust, which is one of those 7 practices of good questions. So for this particular learning activity, you're asked to reflect on 5 components of trust and respond in written format. So really kind of thinking about trustworthiness, being truthful and fair, thinking about if you're reliable, are you competent? Does your personality exude warmth? In other words, are you kind? Do you convey an attitude of stewardship or benevolence? And so you're going to reflect on those things, and that will be your learning activities for this week. Your discussion prompt is going to focus around designing and implementing effective lessons and units. So thinking about how is it that you help, how do you assist novice or collaborating teachers design and implement effective lessons and units, including the effective use of teaching and assessment strategies. So you'll be sharing examples of ways that you as a mentor or coach have helped others, or maybe as a way that you have been helped by mentors and coaches as you're working on designing and implementing effective lessons and units. I hope you have a wonderful week of learning, and I look forward to your discussion board prompts as you share those examples with each other. And also, I look forward to reading your learning activities. You have done an incredible job thus far, being insightful and reflective. And that bodes well, because being a reflective practitioner is so important. Dr. John Hattie, just a little aside here, but Dr. John Hattie's work has really helped us understand in a concrete way, I think, what we've known from a head and heart perspective anyways, from an experience perspective, and that is that reflective practitioners really make a difference. They really positively impact student learning. So have a wonderful week of learning,